Welcome to the magical Masai Mara here in Kenya. My name is Brent and I have zone keys on camera. Isn't this exciting? We're taking all our wonderful schools on a live safari from 2 different places. Now, I can't wait to hear all your questions, but I think this is especially for the little boys out there today. I got something so cool. I have to show it with you because I know you're all going to love it. Now, it is a traditional Maasai sword. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Now, this is completely handmade and very, very sharp, but it's so I can chop off branches that get in my way, of course. But isn't that very, very, very cool? So, a traditional Maasai sword, and the sheath here is made out of cow skin, and it has been stained red with ochre. So, ochre is a rock, and if you ground it up, it's quite chalky, and it was what's traditionally used to paint people's faces or the outside of their houses, and it's a very, very important color in Maasai culture, and you'll see a lot of their stuff is red. And if we have a look, since I'm going to put it over here so it's a little bit easier for you. Now, if we have a look carefully at the handle, now, the handle, you can see there's even still a bit of hair on there. Now, this is made out of goat or sheep skin, and it is tightly wound around a piece of wood. And this takes a really long time to do. And this is not an easy thing to make. So it's not like a knife you buy in a shop that's normally made by a machine. This has been made by hand. And I got it from my good friend, who's a Maasai who works at Ngama, named John. I also got Jamie one, so we both now have swords. I do feel like I'm 7 again. But I know this is for the boys. They thought it'd be very cool. Girls, I will find something beautiful to show you shortly. Now, we do have some zebra out on the open plain next to us. Here we go. Hello, zebras. Now, these are the resident zebra, so they hang around between the mountains in the background and these open plains quite often. Now, if you have a look, look at them, they're a little bit upset. Now, this looks like it's a group of little stallions. So, like boys, they like a bit of rough and tumble. And they were running away. I think they've been chased by a bigger, meaner boy to keep him away from all the girls. But anyway, very interesting to watch. I hear all the boys say, whoa! I did the exact same thing when I got my sword for the first time. I was very excited. I've only managed to cut myself once today. I've only had it for about 4 hours. But as Steph says, and Steph is another one of our guides who's actually busy building a camp at the moment, and he got a sword for his son, who's a Maasai sword for his son, and he says, well, every little bit of blood that you get on it, it helps you and your sword to become friends. Okay, well, I've got some more zebra a bit closer up ahead, so those ones are moving away, so let's see if we can get a little bit closer. But it's very exciting to be honest. We're heading down towards the river. We might see a giant crocodile. Brooke wants to know, why do I have a sword and what do I use it for? Brooke, it's because I'm a little boy at heart. Little boys love swords and knives and such things. And in this one in particular, if I get stuck in the mud, I use it to chop a tree so I can put the branches underneath the wheels so I can get unstuck. I use it to cut some cheese if I'm hungry. But yes, it's just a really nice thing to have. So just because it's so well made and handmade and from Kenya, it's a very cool thing. Now, as I say, there could be some very big crocodiles down at the river. This is one of the spots where the zebra and the wildebeest swim across the river to try and get between the different patches of grazing. So always a good place to come have a look. Oh, sorry, that's my radio making some noise. Oh, that's turning it up. Let's turn it down. Oh, look, there's a warthog. Hello, warthogs. There we go. So there we go. There's a couple of warthogs. Now, you can see they're a little bit nervous, so just keeping an eye on making sure we're not up to trouble. Now, the pride of lions that I'm looking for that lives in this area, their favorite food is warthog. So it pays to be very cautious if you're a warthog in this area. And, oh dear, where have my binoculars gone? I want to have a look at something far, far away. Mrs. Gordon. Mrs. Gordon is wondering, are wild pigs different from warthogs? Well, Jess, normally, it depends on your different. We've got quite a few different pig... Whoa, what are you doing, car? Quite a few different pig species here in Africa. This is the only pig that is evolved to handle the savanna biome. So the only one that lives in the grasslands. The other pigs generally prefer thickets or much thicker areas. So you have bush pig. In Kenya, you've got a very cool one called a giant forest hog. And then you have red river hogs. And right in Morocco, you have a remnant population of Eurasian boar that live in the Atlas Mountains. But they are different from wild pigs. What a lot of people consider wild pigs are generally, especially in America, are feral pigs. So the same pigs that are farmed for bacon and pork chops and all those lovely things, but have escaped and gone wild. Whereas this is a completely separate species. Warthogs are their own family. Let's go have a look what's down next to the river. Joey's wondering, are the warthogs aggressive towards people? Well, Joey, no, they're not. So, like any animal, they will become aggressive if they are cornered. But if you're walking out in the bush, the warthogs will run away from you. They can be very aggressive towards lions and cheetahs and leopards, and they've got very sharp teeth that help them defend themselves. So normally it's only lions and big male leopards that eat warthogs. And here we have some Thomson's gazelle. Now, they're becoming one of my favorite animals since I've been in Kenya. They just look so funny, and they've got really long tails. Look at it swishing away. Such a little animal with a long tail. Oh, it's a unicorn. Oh, no, it's not a unicorn. It's got two horns. One's just a little bit shorter than the other. I thought I'd found a unicorn for the girls. So, there we go. Hello. Now, there are lots of flies that bother these animals, so that's why they've got such a long tail, to keep the flies away from the smelly bits. She looks quite pregnant, actually, and they are supposed to give birth sometime in the next couple of weeks. I have seen a few of them, babies already, but on the other side of the river, and you'll find that there might be a little bit of variation in the birthing of the Thomson's gazelles. Oh, it's very still here on the open plain. I can hear a rufous-snaped lark in the distance, and I can hear the Mara River. Oh, let's get closer to the river. Maybe I can find you a great big hulking crocodile or a big fat hippopotamus. And the wonderful thing about being on your very own live safari is that there could be a lion or a leopard or a cheetah or a hyena around the next corner, and hopefully we'll be able to find them. Head Welcome back to the Masai Mara, and here we have a little Coke's Hartebeest having an evening drink. Isn't that backlight just gorgeous? And isn't that a thirsty little one? Mom seems to be quite tolerant, and quite often you'll notice, there we go, I was going to say, when they get to about that age, and those little sharp horns are quite painful on Mom's tummy, but they will headbutt her udders to try stimulate milk production. Now we're right on the edge of the Mara River forest, and I'm slowly just meandering along, seeing what we can find. Fortunately, there were no big crocodiles out and about. Well, that is just an exquisite scene of those Hartebeest with that western light shining upon them. Now, one thing I'm quite grateful for is that we're not windy anymore. There we go. So we're going to move on, and because it's not windy, guess what it means we can do? Hopefully birdwatch a bit more than we did this morning. The paka is misbehaving a little bit, but I sorted her out, and hopefully she should be right as rain. It's quite nice. We've spent a lot of our time in the afternoons ducking rainstorms, and we're not having that today. So it's quite pleasant to just sort of bubble around. You're not going to have to dash to get away from rain. Now, I wanted to find a sooty chat this morning, and alas, I failed. So I am on the hunt for a sooty chat this afternoon. The sooty chat is about as snooty as our FC at the moment. All the FC girls, they like to chirp us. But don't worry, we always get our own back with the odd spider or snake in their beds. Of course, I'm only joking. Remember, Safari Live, if you've got any questions for us. Oh, we got my going here. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Now, my Swahili I can understand when speaking to a person. Speaking is not great, but when you hear the speed of Swahili that comes through the radio, it is something quite impressive. Of course, now it is silent. There's something that might be sleeping. La la la. We'll just bumble along. But I leave it on, of course, because it's a very good way for me to learn as I go listening to the Swahili, and hopefully my Swahili, well, bado kidogo naongea zaidi safi sana. Is what I did there. Mbuzi, got Mbuzi. So Senzo, of course, is the big trip up from South Africa. As he gets spoken to quite a lot by all the Swahili speakers in Kenya, and Senzo just sort of looks, and it's quite surprising because I have to do some of this talking for him. Oh, okay, well, I'm going to keep on looking for... Oh, what's that? Oh, it's a warthog, I think, hiding in the grass. Oof, dust, go away. You see it? Oh, that camouflaged pig. You can see that lovely green grass there. Probably means there's a bit of a muddy patch that it's lying in. Oh, no, there we go, heads up. Oh, so they saw me. Goodness gracious. I'm just trying to wallow in the mud in peace, and these people just keep bothering me. But we'll leave the pig to wallow and me to search for the sooty chat. While we do that, let's go back to Ron on Djuma. Hello, welcome back to the marvellous Mara. Oh, I see a lion, I think, and an elephant, all in one. Sorry, the synchro mesh is a bit out on this vehicle. I think that's a lion sleeping there. Is it? No, it's a stump. But there are lovely ellies. Well, there is a lion around here somewhere in the long grass. So I'm just trying to have a quick look. Apparently there is a lion very close to where these elephants are, but they're off the road somewhere. We might not be able to see them. And one quickly for our birders, Senzo, for their Kenya lists. A Cape turtle dove up in that tree there. There we go. So I know a lot of you are trying to build your Kenya list. Now there are quite a few more species. Or Senzo, am I going to sell you down the rabbit hole? Where's it going? Where's it going? Oh no, it's gone. Sorry. It was a white-headed saw-winged swallow. I will keep an eye out for them coming back. Ooh, but look, I see some other stuff happening behind us. Something just disappeared into the grass next to us here. Now, some of you might have seen it, some of you might have not. I can hear it. I can hear it. Where are you hiding? It's about here. It's being a trickster. It was a yellow-throated longclaw, but keep a lookout. They might pop out again. Remember, hashtag Safari Live if you've got any questions for us. We would love to hear from you. Wait 1 second, I'm just going to go have a chat with one of the Ngama guides. Hello. Oh, just 1 second. How are you today? How's your game been? Any news for me?
I know what you're looking for.
I think they're behind us. Apparently there's a Djuma somewhere back along this tree line.
Oh.
Yeah.
They haven't found it. They haven't found it.
Okay.
I was just talking to that guy. But they said that he was somewhere there.
Oh,
in grasslands.
I've heard two different stories. We're going out opposite directions. Must be. But it's a traffic jam now, so I'm just waiting. So I'm just chatting to Alice. Alice is one of the magnificent and wonderful Ngama guides who've made sure I haven't got lost and fallen in a hole somewhere in the Masai Mara. So just having a quick catch up. Remember, I will get to your questions in a second. John, I think it was. But here we go. Oh, it looks like our traffic jam is opening. So after you, Alice. Oh, well, we're live. You've got to be smooth while live. Okay, so we've just, this is why there's such a traffic jam in this particular spot, is there's a lugger, and what a lugger is what we call a dongo or drainage line. The big difference between luggers and dongos that we get in the Sabi Sands in South Africa is, of course, that most of these are filled with water here, and with this volcanic ash that makes the soil so wonderful here, makes them very, very sticky and muddy. So there's very few safe spots to cross them, and this is actually a little bridge across them. So yeah, so it sounds like, there we go, you can see here, well, it's not exactly a raging torrent, but you would definitely get stuck if you tried to drive through this little lugger here. Okay. Now Alice seems to think the lion is lying up ahead on the grassland here. Oh, hello, Ellies. There we go. We're just going to sneak past the elephants. John is wondering, how loud is an elephant's trumpet in comparison to a lion's roar? Oof. I'd say it's quite different, because an elephant trumpet, well, actually an elephant, they do roar as well, sort of a when they're upset or angry. I would say that elephant probably more piercing, whereas a lion is deeper and can probably be heard from a lot longer a distance. So I wouldn't know exactly the decibels, I'm afraid. Now, let's see where this lion is. Somewhere here in the grass. Now, this area here is actually called the Chainlands. Now, that sounds like a very strange area, or strange name for an area, but apparently before this was deemed a no off-roading zone, many people attempted and what happened is they had to come and get pulled out by a tractor with a train. With a chain, not a train. I lost my train of thought. Ooh. Oh, sorry, we're just trying to see now. Now, would you believe that a massive male lion can sometimes be incredibly difficult to see? I think he's quite far, to be honest. Ah, there. I got him, I think, Sens. You see what I'm looking at? I could be not a lion, but let's have a check. Okay, so let's go zoom. Okay, slow down, slow down. Okay, zoom a bit more. There's a stick. And let's go to the left slightly. There, what's that there? Just zoom in there. That is very much a stick. But did you see in front of the stick, Senzo? A little bit down. Look at that. That's a male lion. Hey, you've got to have sharp eyes out here in the Mara. You have to spot it from a mile away. Now, can you believe that is an adult male lion lying flat in not very long grass? Ooh, but birders, what is that behind him? Because that is a very flat cat. So, Senzo, if you go up a little bit, are we on full zoom?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so I just want to have a look in my binoculars. It is quite far away, but I'm pretty sure it is just it's a Fiscal shrike in the distance. And there you can see one of the entrance gates to the park in the background. There we go. It is a Fiscal or common Fiscal and a very, very flat cat. Oh, there we go. He moved his leg. So we know where the cat is. We were looking at the bird, but because the cat is so flat, so I don't think this lion's going to move anymore. I think I'm going to head towards Mitiamaziwa, which means the milk tree, which is a euphorbia, and that is the area where the Ngama pride keep their cubs. Before we get caught in another traffic jam around a flat cat. We're going to keep moving, see if we can find any more, hopefully not so flat cats. While we do that, let's go to Byron and some interesting eddies. Well, we've just seen a common Fiscal. Now we have their cousin, the greyback Fiscal shrike. Now, like the common Fiscal, they're well known for impaling insects on thorns. And my grandpa used to call them Jackie Hangmen, or the whole Fiscal family. Now, of course, they don't do this out of malice or spite. They do it to keep a larder of food. Now, I have heard a bird we haven't seen before. We have seen the greyback Fiscal. And now they've gone quiet, so I'm just going to move around. But I'm sure all of you are very excited to find another parrot species. Now, as the wind's not too strong, we've got a bit more of a chance. We're down near Samaki Swamp, and in these little tree islands, not only do we have a really good chance at some birds, but this is where the black rhino like to hang out as well. So there's a cow and calf that I've seen quite regularly in this area. But we're going to try for these mayor's parrots off the bat. It sounded like they were in one of these trees. There they are. You can hear them screeching. Now we just got to spot them. So they've got blue and yellow on them. Do I need to go forward, Sense?
Yes, please.
Sure. I can't spot them yet. I think they're on the other side of the tree. Let's just go around. You see them? Okay, I'm just trying to get a visual of them. They're being very noisy. Squawk, squawk, squawk. I think I see them. Okay. You can hear the squawking. Let's get my binos out. See if I can look in that little sort of gully on the left there, Sense. On the left. Up a bit. Up a bit. Yeah, there. In there. I saw some movement. Where are my binoculars? Oh, they're in both trees. I'm just trying to get one that's out in the open. Isn't this frustrating? We can hear them squawking away. Show yourself, parrot. Let's have a look in the other tree. Maybe they're more visible there. They're right in the thickets there. You can hear them all around. There, Sense. Okay, come out to that one, top of that tree. There we go. One mare's parrot delivered at the top of an Abyssinica, a Diospirus abyssinica. So a relative of our jackalberry. Now, I don't know if we can see, there's a little yellow dot on his nose and sort of greeny blue on the underside. There we go. I'm very happy we managed to see them, even though they squawk, 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 squawk. Very vocal birds. Okay, let's keep moving through this area. I really like this area. Oh wait, let's see, they might fly a bit closer. So he's going to land on top of this tree closer to us. Okay, let's just go back a skosh. And you might be able to get a nice, oh goodness, pucker. There we go, that's it. In the beautiful afternoon light. Now you need to turn, oops, sorry, he sends that was my fault. And you can see that greeny blue. Now we want him to turn his head towards us. Come on, show us your face, pretty parrot. There we go, you see that very distinct yellow above his beak. Very noisy birds, constantly squawking around in the forests. The mayor's parrot. Bree's wondering, does he have a lot of green on him? He is quite green, but also it's actually quite blue. But he's got that very distinct yellow on his forehead. Now, he's brown mostly on top. There we go. Come on, turn towards us, please, Mr. Parrot. Now, of course, the reason they like these Abyssinicas, they're Diospirus, so they're ebonies, and they do have lovely fruit, and that's what attracts them to these trees. Oh, he's off. He's off, he's off, he's off, and so are we, if Pucker will let us. Oh, I see some more birds up ahead. Now, the nice thing about birding slowly through an area like this is we do have a very good chance at those rhinoceri. Still haven't managed to find a sooty chat. It's amazing. As soon as we're off air, they're everywhere. I've also seen male lions in here as well. Okay, well, we're going to keep searching for whatever we might be able to find, and as it gets later and the sun starts dipping, we're going to start heading towards the escarpment, but it sounds like the sun is already dipping with Byron. Welcome back to the Mara. Now, we're still in search for that elusive sooty chat. And of course, anything else. This area, I'm still hoping for a live leopard sighting. We've seen a few of them while we haven't been on air, but in quite difficult areas or from some distance. So there's a female there who's got a, oh, what have we got there? I think it's another Fiscal, but let's just make doubly sure. It is the common Fiscal, and this time a bit closer. So we've seen both grey-backed and common Fiscals today. And this one's a little bit closer. The last one was sitting behind that very flat lion. Now, one of the reasons we're moving along the edge of this little river system called the Shieni, and that runs actually from in front of our camp. Oh, well done, Aaron. Aaron's Mara bird list is up to 34. That's spectacular. Oh, hopefully we can make 38 before the end of drive. 40, I think I'm pushing a little bit, but 38 is doable. Now, and again, I'm still searching the edge of these forests. The black rhino tend to move up and down between these little patches of trees. So at this time of the day, they're quite often outside the forest. So always a good spot to look. The African wild dog. How big are the packs here? Cynthia, I would say that there are not that many wild dogs in this area, and the biggest pack seen from in the last couple of years in this area is only 3. On the other side of the river, they are more common, but distemper and rabies have played a big role in bringing down the wild dog numbers in this area. But hopefully, there will be a miraculous recovery. Oh, there's a what's tipple skirchy, but what is on that? Is that? There's a lovely giraffe marching across the grasslands. Now, of course, the tipple skirchy is the scientific name for the Maasai giraffe. Very beautiful. So we've seen yellow-billed, we're still looking for red-billed. Ooh, I hear some branches breaking up ahead. Let's go have a look. It could be an elephant. It could also be a black rhino. Oh dear, are we going to get split? Nah. Maybe. Nah. Hold on. Oh, goodness. This is a very funny old car, this one. It should never even think about getting stuck. We met. Okay. That was quite close. So a machine gun next would like to know what bird. Oh, we've got lots. Have a quick look at that. Whatever was breaking branches. The biggest bird of prey outside of the vulture family is the martial eagle, and there's quite a lot of pairs of martial eagle around here. And then, of course, we've got the resident brown eagle is the tawny, and during different times of the year we'll have a lot of the lesser spotted Wahlbergs, all the ones that migrate, but one of my favorite things that I can't wait to show you is an auger buzzard. It is gorgeous, and they're resident, but particularly higher up on the escarpment. We see them when we're driving up and down quite often. Oh, we've got common kestrel, lesser kestrel, Montague's harrier, pygmy falcon. There's a lot more birds of prey here than you find in the Greater Kruger. There's a lot more birds. So the bird species count for the Mara is over 500, whereas Krugers are on 350. So there's a lot more here. Okay, let's keep going. I am going to find that sooty chat, even if we have to break the branches. It is an elephant. I can just see it. Scotch. Okay. Zoom where you are, Sens. There we go. A little bit to the left. And center now. A little bit to the right. There we go. Oh, no, you got him. Back. Zoom. Drop. Now, there we go. There's an elephant hiding behind the bush there. Hello. I'm hoping you were a black rhino, but it's lovely to see you anyway, even though you are hiding in a croton thicket. Sounds like there's actually quite a few of them in there. Okay, let's keep moving. Goodness, pucker. Well, I'm going to argue with the car a little bit while I do that. Let's go back to Biden, who was having a more pleasant time